All right, on today's How You Slice It podcast, I'm talking with David from Dado's Pizza. This is a really good episode, maybe one of the best ones we've recorded so far, talking to David about third-party apps and how to fight against those, building a team, and just starting a business during COVID and transitioning from fine dining to the pizza restaurant in the pizza industry and how to grow a brand, a team, a business. All of that on the How You Slice It podcast right now. All right, welcome back to the How You Slice It podcast. David/Dado's Pizza.
That's right.
Thanks for hanging out with me.
Pleasure to be here.
I know this is my first official podcast in the How You Slice It studio.
It's very nice. I feel like I'm in a shop right now.
I think that's
I should have brought a pizza.
I know.
You
asked me.
I was going to bring a pizza in the 6-pack.
Oh, we could have put it on the table.
Missed opportunity. I know. Yeah, missed opportunity.
That was my bad. My bad for that. Because I said no because I feel bad. I didn't want you to have to carry it over here.
No, man. This is a quick train ride down. This is a great spot.
Where are you located, by the way?
We're on 127th and St. Nicholas.
Okay, so can you tell everybody at home about your pizzeria?
So Dado's opened 2021, mid tail end of what was going on in the city here, and I had never worked in a pizzeria before.
Really?
My background was in fine dining.
Okay.
I worked at a place called Pizzeria, which is Thomas Keller, three Michelin-starred spot in the city.
Wow.
I left there, and I had lived in Harlem for about 10 years. I had lived in that community. I love it up there. It's in West Harlem, right kind of near Columbia and City University, City College.
Okay.
And the area is chock full of the big chains: Domino's, Little Caesars.
We're in New York. I'm shocked those places do good here.
I don't understand it, and we can go into it a little bit. Like Pizza Hut is doing a big push in the city. I guess nationally they're opening a lot of new stores, but in the city at least they're opening a bunch of places right around the corner from me.
That's crazy. I feel like the shittiest pizza shop in New York City is 10 times better than a Pizza Hut.
1,000%. I don't understand, and I don't even think New Yorkers understand it yet because they haven't rolled it out. I can't imagine it lasts long.
Right. People
in New York, at least, have this idea of a slice shop, the grab and go,
yeah,
which doesn't translate anywhere else. I worry because I always want to. I'm always looking at expansion. I'm always looking at new turf.
Yeah.
And I actually live in the suburbs now, and our town has 2 or 3 pizzerias that everybody goes to. They know it, but it's not a slice shop. And I think that's what I love about our shop is that, you can grab a slice or you can sit down and grab a pie with the family and wings and beers and all those things. But that picking up a slice and eating it on the move is such a uniquely New York thing that that's what I really wanted. And that's what actually does well for us. I mean, the margins on this slice are better than anything.
You'd rather sell slices than the whole pie.
I would. I mean, I want to do it all. I want to do big catering orders. I want to do all that stuff. But if I had a line out the door like some of the big players in the city, that would make me just as happy.
Yeah. So you've been open for what, 3 years now?
Yeah, we're in our 4th year.
So you went from fine dining to pizza.
Fine dining to pizza. I did recipe testing in my apartment in just a standard 30-inch gas range on a stone, one at a time. I tested all the cheeses. I tested all the sauces. I had to scale everything up when we opened.
Was this during COVID?
This was during COVID, yeah.
Okay.
So I had a lot of time on my hands.
Yeah.
And
because your restaurant was shut down?
Well, I had left per se. I had been doing, some other things, property management, construction management, which I still do today. But in the evenings, I was making pizza 7 nights a week.
Wow.
And middle of COVID, everyone's bundled up in their houses. I was delivering pies to friends. So I was probably doing 20 pies a week.
Really?
Yeah, for friends. And
just because you knew you had to test it out?
Yeah. I wanted to have it right, having never worked in a pizzeria, and I went very elemental on it. I broke down everything I could. I tried different flours. I tried all the the big cheeses. There's a Pennsylvania Mac out of I think they're in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
They sell all Italian specialties, but they sell all the big name cheeses and flours that you would find on a commercial pizzeria in smaller bundles.
Okay.
So I could get 5-pound bags of Grande.
Okay.
I could get
because you didn't have you couldn't go to Restaurant Depot or anything like that when you're home.
Well, you can't get Grande at Restaurant Depot.
Oh, you can't?
No, it's what do you get there? You get
Baccio or something like that.
Not even Baccio, Palio and Galbani.
Oh.
Okay, which are good, but
If you say so.
I mean, I don't say so. But no, so I was able to get like small blocks of grande. I was able to get tomato magic, or alta cucina.
Yep.
I mean, we're 100% tomato magic, 100% grande, and then we use all Trump, which I'm, coming into the new year, I like to evaluate everything. So we're looking at some different flour blends and stuff. So, but yeah, so I was making pizza in the
So
apartment.
those 3 or 4 things, right? The typical New York pizza shop.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can deviate from that, but I think it's like, I know when I go into a pizzeria, I can taste the grande.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you can too.
Definitely.
So
it's like what you think of when you think of a New York slice shop.
Yes.
The only other time I saw a shop that you're talking about that's similar to what you're doing is outside of this area. I went to Orlando recently. We did a video with, but they're from New York.
Yeah.
So they like moved to Florida.
Okay.
Opened a slice shop. Exactly what you would think of and see in New York City. Outside of there, it's doing okay.
Yeah.
I think maybe people's perception of like that New York, maybe Instagram helps that, which you're pretty good at too.
I do enjoy trolling on Instagram. Yeah, it's a little hobby of mine. But yeah, so we opened 2021, and I did no marketing. Like, we just opened the doors one day. It was a small crew.
How big is your shop?
It started as like 375 square feet. We've doubled now. We have like a bar tap room, where we do beer, wine, and extra seating. But we just opened the doors, and like the first like day or two, I was just giving out pizza.
Yeah.
First of all, like I was trying to do full batches, 50, 60 pizzas at a time.
Yeah.
So like we were not selling 50, 60 pizzas. So I had to like give them away, give them to local businesses, schools, just like getting feedback and actually using that feedback to develop our recipe a little bit more.
That's smart though.
Well, I mean, ultimately, like, you're serving that community.
Yeah.
And it was all foot traffic. And I'll get to it, but like we went on Slice, because they were the easiest ones. I identified with them as a small independent business, in a restaurant. And so that our only online presence was like our Google profile and Slice.
Okay.
And Slice made it easy, and I'm not saying that because we're in the studio, but I like sent them my photos. I sent them just a picture of my menu, and they took it, and then we were online.
Yeah.
And what was so fascinating was we were open for a day. We had our tablet, and then orders came in, which is so interesting when you think of it on a consumer level. You're like, okay, I'm gonna order from this place, Dado's. I've never been there. I've never seen it because we just opened.
Right.
And yet the orders were coming in.
So what was it? The pictures of the pizzas,
maybe it was
probably?
the picture that brought him in. I'm not sure, but it's like for somebody to, and I take this very seriously. I think about, especially in our market segment, where and my community and where we're located. You're taking people's hard-earned money to feed their families. I think about that every day. I don't take any dollar spent for granted, because food is so important, and the dollar is tighter than it's ever been for people. So you have people that are spending their hard-earned money on your food. They don't know anything about Dado's. They don't even know it existed up until 24 hours ago. And so to see those orders coming in was like, wow, this is huge. And so, Slice like really helped us fill in what we weren't getting from our foot traffic at that point.
So that's great. So fast forward now 3 or 4 years later, how is business?
Yeah, so we're having a great year. I think pizza in general is in a renaissance.
Yeah.
And I think that we are a middle of the road product, right? We're not the dollar slice, but we're not this like hype beast artisanal pizza that's out there now. Like, I think all pizza is great. But I think the pizza that we serve is your everyday pizza.
Yeah.
And I would rather be that. I think there are merits to super high-end Neapolitan. I think there are merits to a fresh piece of basil on every slice, or finished with the parm. Like, I think that stuff is great. Tastes good, looks great. It's expensive.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's really accessible for everybody. I think it would be great to do that. Maybe not in my market segment, maybe not at my location, but I want to feed the everyday.
Yeah.
Like
maybe a second. It's so funny you say that, because somebody asked me the other day, like, hey Bruce, you do all these podcasts, you do the video. If you opened a pizzeria, what would you do? And I'm like, no doubt in my mind, I'd do like 5 or 6 pizzas New York style.
Yeah.
Because it's the easiest thing to me. If I had a small pizza shop, I would want to make it where if you wanted to come in multiple times a week, you could.
Yes.
If you had Neapolitan, no one's going to do that. If you have Detroit style, no one's going to do that because it's too heavy.
Yeah.
And
Also,
Neapolitan style doesn't travel well.
Exactly. That was exactly what I was going to say. It's like I want to be the everyday pizza.
Yeah.
I want to be light enough, but I want to be full of flavor. And so, we have customers that come 5-6 days a week. It's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's part of their routine. And so to be a part of that routine, it's like it feels very much like a community restaurant.
So you did it. Like not that you're like you're done, but that's what you aimed to do when you opened it up and like you made it happen.
So I built the restaurant again, having never worked in a pizzeria, but I'm modeling it after what I grew up on. There was a pizzeria on Chase Road in my town called S&J.
Where?
And it had in Westchester.
New York?
Yeah. And it had the same booths that we're sitting in right now, but it was
the Pauly G special.
Yeah, the Pauly G special. It was this, and it was New York style, not too cheesy, great sauce, and I always think of the Family Guy skit with the house salad with the. You ever see this?
No, not the skit. I've seen Family Guy.
Yeah, so Family Guy has like the pizzeria salad, which is like a wedge lettuce just like cut in half, like a tomato cut in thirds.
Yeah, I did see that. I think.
And just like the super acidic vinegar dressing, like that's what we are. And so we're in a spot where we have great regulars, but people are still discovering us. We started with 5 or 6 pies, and we developed the menu more based on what people wanted.
Yep.
I still won't cater to everything.
Well, it's good to start small, and because you can always add something, it's hard to take something away.
Totally. Beyond menu items, taking away menu items, but if you take away a promotion, there's blood in the streets. So I'm really happy with where we are. I would love to expand more. I'd love to be in a higher foot traffic area and take the same concept, feel, menu down maybe somewhere in Lower Manhattan if we could. We did a licensing deal with a good friend of mine out in Oklahoma, so we actually do have another location in Oklahoma. They do awesome. It's weird. It doesn't always translate that slice shop mentality, the grab a slice and go. They come in there, they want their full pies.
Yeah.
But they do awesome, and they mimic a lot of the branding and a lot of the culture and the attitude that we have in our social media. So I'm really pleased with where we are now, and I just think 2025 is going to be about probably perfecting what we do, executing better. The things that you can always do better are like delivery times and speeds, and so that's the stuff that I'm looking forward to in 2025 and refining maybe a little bit.
Is there anything everybody? I don't know I feel like everybody wants to open a pizza shop, no matter what you're doing and as a job, right?
Yeah.
You want to open a pizza shop. What's something that you realized about owning a pizza shop that you didn't know before owning a pizza shop?
Oh man, that's a tough. I wonder. I see people do. It is the interesting thing,
I've never heard anybody say, you know what, I really want to be a plumber.
Yeah, well, hey, man, we need more plumbers.
I'm not saying we don't. I wish we do. Really good plumbers, electricians, builders, but it's not something that people are I want to quit my job and be a plumber.
Yeah, no, I do get that envy sometimes. People are like, oh, wow, it's so cool. You have the pizzeria. It's it is hard work every day. This morning I came in, I fixed a fridge. You just need to be the jack of all trades.
You do.
And that I think is, that's the thing I love about it, because every day is completely different, even though it's the same menu. That's one thing that's really interesting. As predictable as pizza is, right? From an ordering standpoint, I order the same thing every week. I order the same amount, pretty much, give or take a little bit here and there.
Inventory, you mean?
Inventory, right? Yeah, we're so steady. It's just a check every week. I send the same thing. Yeah. But it's those little things that make it interesting, right? It's coming in and solving a problem. That is what I love about it.
You mean when the printer doesn't work and they call you, the employees call you hey, the printer doesn't work. You're did you turn it off and on?
Yeah, it's so I like being that though.
Yeah.
And I have an amazing team.
That's great.
Who's been with me, most of which I was looking at today. I was doing Christmas bonuses and stuff. But I'm these guys have all been with me for almost since day one.
That's great. That's good for you as the owner for how you treat your staff then.
I'd like to
turnover
think so.
rate's high.
Turnover rate can be high. I think a lot of that has settled down, at least for me.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of political movement and environment that has made people want to maybe switch jobs or, people were making more money doing DoorDash or, you know, as delivery guys and stuff like that. So it takes a little convincing in that market segment of employment to say like, hey, like, you know, maybe it's doesn't have the flexibility as delivering for Uber, or, you know, maybe the dollar amount is slightly less, you know, for these 1099 guys, but, you know, come be a part of a team, come be proud of something. And I think my guys really are. Like, nobody gets more pissed off when a pie gets, like, you know, flipped over, the cheese is on, than the pizza maker. And I love that passion because it means they care. And so, yeah, I'm stoked that I've had the same crew for like 4 years now, and it makes my job easier. Like, it used to be, you know, they were always in touch with me about like refunds or customer complaints, and I take that stuff very seriously. Like, I err on the side of believe the customer. Just send them a refund, send them a new pie, whatever it takes, because it is so hard to get a customer and keep them. You know, like once you lose them, they're gone. They're never coming back. They have a bad experience, and if you don't make it right, they're never coming back.
Did you have to instill that in your staff?
Yeah, I mean,
because they're usually defensive.
They can be.
That's what I used to. My mentor. My business partner was my mentor before I became he was my business partner when we opened the shop. And I used to be defensive. That's why I say that. Because, like, I'd be running the shop. He wouldn't be there. Someone will call up and complain. And my first initial reaction is, like, that's not how it happened.
Yeah.
But then he had to teach me. He's like, listen, it's my money.
Yeah.
Just give them. You can refund their order. You can give them a new order, or you can give them a credit.
Yeah.
Like, don't argue with them.
Never.
And I'm like, it took me him saying that to me, be like, all right, you know what? If he doesn't care about me giving away food, I'm not going to complain about it.
Right.
I just want to make the customer happy.
I just don't want to be taken advantage of.
True.
Which
you're going to have.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
And unfortunately it does. But our staff is really good at this point of, like, weeding that out.
Yeah.
But they'll err on the side of just refund it.
Yeah.
And they feel empowered because of they see how I approach customers and how I deal with, like, bad reviews or customer complaints. Like, they feel empowered to do it. It's like a shoot first, ask questions later.
Yeah.
Like, because it's very time sensitive, right?
Yeah.
Like, somebody complains about a bad pie, they're feeding dinner, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, so you don't have a lot of time to, like, you can't get back to them the next day about, you know, a bad pie.
Right.
I mean, you can try to smooth it over, but their, like, concern is feeding their family or their team or their students or whatever it is. So,
plus, if it's 12 hours later, that's 12 hours they have to talk bad about you on the internet.
Correct. Yeah, that's a lot of time.
Yeah.
It takes no time to write a shitty review.
Right.
So, I think the staff feels very empowered to make those decisions, and I've never come down on somebody in my team who made a refund, like, because the staff isn't taking advantage of me, it's the guest sometimes taking advantage of that generosity.
Is that something you learned at the fine dining place, or is that something
100%.
you learned? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
what'd they do there at a fine dining place? Like, how do you deal with that?
I mean, it's immediate. I can't speak for them, but
they just kick you out?
No. Like, they make it right.
Do they?
If it's sending champagne, if it's refunding, if it's inviting back, there's a million ways to make somebody happy in that environment.
Different though, right? Because they're right there.
Yes.
So you can deal with it right away.
Yeah. I mean, and the stakes are maybe a little bit higher.
Right.
In a fine dining 3 Michelin-star restaurant, but I think the expectations are the same.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. Or at least I hope that they are. I want somebody ordering our pizza to get the same level of service that you would at a Michelin-star restaurant. Why not?
Right.
You know?
That's hard to do. I don't think it's hard to do if you're the owner. It's hard to get that message across to people who answer the phone for you.
I think that it comes down to execution. I don't think it's hard to do. Like, I mean, a perfectly cooked pizza or, like, a perfectly cooked steak, like, those are the same thing.
That's true.
I don't, like, you measure your expectations, right? But there's no reason that person, like, they're not expecting a perfectly cooked steak for their $22 pizza, but they're expecting a perfectly cooked pizza. And
right.
There's no reason why you can't deliver that.
That's good. That's a good point. Yeah, it sets that expectation for your staff too. Like, that's the standard we live to.
And my staff, like, they really uphold it. I mean, at this point, I'm in a place where I'm stepped back almost from the day to day.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not.
So your shop could run without you.
I guess so. Yeah. I mean,
well, that's what they say when you have you don't have a job, you have a business. If you can step away from your business and it can run for a week or two without you smoothly, you've set up a business.
It took me a couple years to be able to go on vacation.
Yeah.
Like, I was in the shop 7 days a week when we opened, and
for how long?
Probably about a year. a full year until, I would take a morning off, day off.
Yeah, like usually it's like 6 to 8 months before you can even take a shift off.
Yeah.
Because you're just still not sure.
Well, I was fortunate or unfortunate that we were in the middle of COVID. Yeah. And so where I was living and where my family was, like it made it easy for me to be in there every day. And that's a blessing and a curse. It was a weird time.
Yeah.
But great for pizza and delivery and to go. So, that like definitely 6 months, but about a year I was in the shop every day.
Wow. How often are you in there now?
I'm there Monday through Friday, 8 to, like, I'm there before we open.
Yeah.
I'm there like 8 to 4-ish. We do these awesome pizza classes on the weekends.
I saw that on your website.
It was something that was inspired by a former employee, and it started as like a kids class.
Yeah.
And
is it at the shop?
At the shop in our tap room, and the kids get the dough. We talk about how it's made.
Yeah.
Everybody gets a 12-inch dough ball. They get to stretch it out, top it. We do like a handful of toppings. They throw it in the oven. We make zeppelis on the fly for them. We present the pies. It's awesome. So I do some of those classes on the weekends, but I'm just staffed in a way where it could run without me.
That's good.
Yeah.
I love those classes, by the way. My kids are old now, but when they were little, the funnest time I had was bringing dough balls into their classroom and teaching them how to make pizza.
It's the best.
And then you'd think we're NASA engineers,
rock stars.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. Like you asked me, is like everybody wants to own a pizzeria. Everyone wants to like be a chef or something like that. And it's like that is one of the cool things that like it's a little unique. I'm not a doctor, a lawyer, a plumber, or whatever. My son who named it Dado's.
Yeah.
He's stoked about it.
Yeah.
They love coming to the shop. They love going down to the walk-in, grabbing their own dough ball. So yeah, it's something to be proud of.
If you ever want to impress somebody who's under the age of 7, just spin a dough in the air.
Oh, 100%.
They're go on nuts. Your side right
Doesn't
away.
matter if you catch it too.
Yeah, right.
If that thing falls on the floor, they get even more stoked.
They're more pumped about it.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to talk to you about is you do a really good job of social media, and not just like. A lot of people think saying do a good job on social media is like, oh, I post a picture every day and I check it off the box. You mix it up. And you're kind of like a little, you know what I mean? Like you're not afraid to throw it out there.
No, I think you have to. So when I started, we didn't have many followers. I posted pictures.
Did you start your Instagram account? Sorry to interrupt you. Before you opened?
It's a good question.
Like when you were doing pizza at home?
I don't think I posted anything. I definitely had the Instagram. I don't think I posted anything until we actually opened.
So that's when it started?
Yeah.
Okay.
So 2021. And I think like one of the big pops we had was an influencer came in out of nowhere. Like I don't pay for influencer marketing or anything. She came in on her own to do a pizza class and she posted it, blew up. Oh. And we have like 10,000 followers out of nowhere. And now you have like an audience and...
who was the influencer?
It was Butter on a Roll.
Okay.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Influencers have the funniest names.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, they have funny names, but they all sound the same. You ever notice that?
Yeah.
She was awesome. She came in unbeknownst to me. We did a small class, which is her and a couple of her friends, and it just like completely blew up, the pizza classes. And
I wonder if they're like, damn, I'm Butter on a Roll now. Like my Instagram account's so famous I can't change the name, and now I'm known as Butter on a Roll.
No, she can't. She couldn't. How could she? She has a great following. She does. She's all over the city. I think she's focused in New York.
Yeah.
But she travels a bunch, and I definitely owe her another class because she's helped us out a lot. But no, I try to find a voice. Like I don't want to post pictures of my food every day because it's roughly the same.
Right.
Sometimes a pie comes out and you're just like, damn, that's perfect.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'll do that from time to time, but it's about finding a voice. And I think people are more interested in the person, the voice, than they are the food on some level. So I try to keep it interesting. I try to keep it from the entrepreneur perspective because I think that's what people want to hear.
Yeah.
I don't really promote the discounts or anything like that. Like we do $1 wing. I'll just remind people and stuff like that, but I'm not obnoxious about that. I try to talk about a day in the life. I try to make the dough. I show them what's special about how we treat our wings. I show them what's special about our cheese, our sauce. And then like I have these like ongoing battles with like Grubhub and DoorDash and
I saw those.
And bad reviews. Like I'm a little petty. I'm definitely very petty. But again, it's like the feedback I get from that stuff is far better than any picture of a slice.
So do you think it's like a calculated risk?
I think so. I mean, I haven't done the calculations, but I think that, first of all, most people are anti-corporation, right? So that's like kind of an easy one. But also, like, these people are getting abused on that side too. Like, if you think about ordering through a third-party app like Grubhub or DoorDash, they're feeing both sides.
Yeah, because I've never been to a pizza shop who is on those platforms that doesn't raise their price.
100%.
So it's like, if a consumer is not only paying a fee, but they're paying a higher price from the app.
Yeah.
Because they're on the app.
And then it becomes a poor reflection of the pizzeria because they're looking at like the price of food and they're like, wow, this place is astronomical. I would never order from there.
Right.
So, but the people that do, they pay a convenience fee to Grubhub or DoorDash, and then I pay 30%. And they say it's not 30%, but it is. You know, there's a fee cap in New York, which is 23 and a quarter or something like that.
How do they get around that?
Well, because they make you engage in these marketing programs,
Yeah.
which to me is like you're fighting against other restaurants in your community.
Yep.
And some of them are big corporations, like you'll be competing against, name a fast food restaurant, right?
McDonald's.
Okay. So they're on the same platform that you are.
Right.
They have a way bigger marketing spend than I do. And it's a race to the bottom. Who can offer the biggest, steepest discount? Who can, put more marketing dollars and appear higher on the list? So I'm fighting against McDonald's. It's just like...
It's a losing battle.
Yes.
So...
I've looked at some of these payouts and, like, again, they'll say it's 23%. But when you factor in your gross, your net over gross, it's closer to 30 or 35%.
So why use them at all?
I don't know that today I have to.
At the beginning,
in the beginning, you have to get the word out. You have to bring some cash flow in. So I think that it's a necessary evil to get off the ground, especially for like legacy operators. Mom and pop shops that predate the internet, which in the pizza industry,
quite a few.
So it was a way for them to get onto the internet without, a steep learning curve.
Right.
So that's a spot in the market where that works. But for me, as like somebody who's a little bit more tech savvy, I've been able to use my POS integrations to go directly to the various menus. So I think I could eliminate it. Will I take a small hit? Yes. But at the end of the day, will I have more control over the product, the customer experience, and then will I take more money in on every order? 100%.
I wonder if it's everything's kind of cyclical, right? I wonder if those third parties had their day, and now that as much as COVID sucked, it brought a lot of things to light.
Yeah.
Like a lot of pizza shops were able to kind of either close a day or two that they couldn't do because of that, and like COVID was the excuse for that.
Sure.
I wonder if COVID was the excuse to get consumers to be aware of like these practices that these third-party apps are doing.
So I think COVID for a lot of them was a heyday because people were stuck inside and they were ordering this, in the easiest way that they could. It also brought in regulations, especially at least in New York. I can't speak for other markets,
right.
But it kind of refined that down what they couldn't charge. But I think, and I've had a lot of conversations with executives from a couple of those companies because they're pissed off about how I market. Because like in my
what's your Instagram for everybody watching this so they can go check it out?
At Dado's Pizza NYC.
We'll link it up too in the description in this. But if you're after this podcast is over, go check it out.
It's good for a laugh. I actually one of my favorite things is I post all these anti Grubhub and DoorDash things, and I get like all of these small operators from.
I wonder if go ahead. Sorry.
No, but I mean I think some from your area in Mass, because you repost a lot of my stuff, which I appreciate. Yeah. And I got all these independent business owners reaching out and be like, hell yeah, man, like fight the good fight. So it's cool to hear that other people are feeling the same thing.
My question was going to be, why don't they do it? Are they afraid?
Probably a little bit of fear. I mean, like,
what would you tell them right now? Do they need to be?
Probably not, because I've had on my item descriptions on DoorDash and Grubhub, I've written like, do not order from this link. Do not order from this site. Go to my website.
On the Grubhub website.
On the Grubhub website. It says that. Like, if you try to buy a classic pie, it says do not order from Grubhub or DoorDash. Go to my website, and then I give them like a code, like a discount code.
Oh my goodness.
And so it's been there for a year. Grubhub picked up on it. They deplatformed me. I have a call with them this week, so we'll see if we sort it out. I can't imagine I will at this point. I've gone so full tilt that I don't see myself going back on Grubhub. Oh yeah, see, he's like, it's off. Yeah, you can't even order from him. But if you go to DoorDash, you'll see it. So,
do you have a screenshot? I want to put a screenshot.
Yeah, 100%. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, send it to me after the podcast. So I think I saw it on one of your. I think you have it on one of your Instagram reels.
Yeah. Am I allowed to curse on here?
Yeah.
Oh, if you go to dadospizza.com and you type in "fuck Grubhub" as a promo code, it'll give you like 30% off. So that's amazing. And that's still up. That's still live. So that's on our IG and stuff. And like, look, I get it. It's like very petty. It's
but it's not though. It's petty, but it's your business and your livelihood.
But I agreed to it. Right, I agreed to their terms and conditions.
True.
They are providing a service, so like I see both sides of it. But at the end of the day, it's great content, and I think and my customers appreciate. And like, I have no control once that pie leaves the door on a Grubhub or a DoorDash courier. It's done. Like the transaction for me is almost finished. But then somehow like the cheese gets stuck to the top of the box. Like stuff is cold. That becomes a reflection of the restaurant when they go on Google and place a review or Yelp, and that's an everyday battle. So I lose control, and it really shouldn't be that way. If they were delivering an excellent service every time, I would never do that. Right? I would never fight this fight against them. But they continue to have like poor customer service, and I just like I'm over it.
Where can people go leave reviews for Grubhub and Uber Eats? Is there a place for that?
Well, so like a customer could leave a review on Grubhub or DoorDash. That's kind of an echo chamber.
But that's going to be based on your listing.
Yes.
So it's not going to be for like Yelp for Uber.
No, it won't be Yelp for Uber, but like somebody who ordered from Dado's on DoorDash could very well leave a review on Google. Like there's nothing stopping them from doing that. And I live and die by Google reviews. Yeah. I think it's the most important thing because I'd say 9 out of 10 customers, if they're looking for pizza, are going to go to Google Maps or Google. So like that's very important to me.
Yeah. It's like it's how you get ranked too. Google uses reviews as a way to rank your listing in 100%. The Google My Business area, so it's important.
Yeah.
I said I always wanted to do I think one of the memes I did on my account, my personal one was like about 1-star reviews. Mm-hmm. I said we should start a business about reviewing people who leave 1-star reviews.
Yeah.
Like a review site for people who leave 1-star reviews.
So I have like this, first of all, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it.
I would never leave a bad review. Like there's been places that I've gone to, and if I have a bad experience, I just don't go back.
You don't go back. Or, I mean, I promote, so I was doing this like small business Saturday thing. If you're leaving a review for a small business and it's not a 5-star, you shouldn't leave it.
Yeah.
You go to that business. I guarantee you, all of those operators are going to make it right. Whether it's a refund, whether it's changing a policy or a procedure or a menu item, they're going to make it right. They don't want 1-star reviews.
Right.
Go to them directly and talk to them. You'll actually have like a pretty good conversation.
Let me be devil's advocate. What if you do that and then they still don't do anything?
Yeah, then you got to leave them 1-star review. Okay, but then so that's on the restaurant.
So there's a procedure, you should say. Like if someone has a bad, like for me, I did the same thing. If someone has a bad experience, call me, email me, come into the restaurant. I will make it right.
100%.
So a lot of the times people are leaving these 1-star reviews, and that's the first interaction they've had with your restaurant.
Yeah.
And they're just being like, oh, this pizza sucked. And then half the time it was because the DoorDash driver flipped it sideways as they're leaving the door, and
look,
the pizza falls over.
But we're not perfect either. It's not always DoorDash or Grubhub. You can come to Dado's and have a bad experience, or not like something, or think it's too salty, or think the sauce is too. I'm going off metallic or something like that. It's like they're like the tomato sauce comes out of a can. I was like, dude, all tomato sauce comes out of a can.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think? We're growing tomatoes in the backyard?
People don't fully understand it, but we got like a bad review from somebody, a 3-star review because we're no longer on Grubhub or DoorDash. I was like, come on, dude, that's not a legitimate reason to leave somebody a review. So, I mean, yeah, I think most operators will want to make it right if you give them the chance to. And if they don't, then, maybe they deserve the bad review.
Yeah. How come why don't these sites like let you leave the review, right? Mm-hmm. But then like maybe before they post it, like reach out to the owner and be like, hey, listen, you got this bad review. What do you want to do about it?
Yeah. So Google doesn't do that. They have an appeal process, but
it sucks.
It's not great. I hope they're not listening to this, but Google that is.
Probably.
No,
Google's
it's
probably listening somewhere.
I think it's a fair look. You can't remove all bad reviews, right?
Yeah.
Because then it wouldn't. Everybody would have 5-star, and it would be a useless metric.
If Google is listening, we're talking about Pizza Hut.
And how? Yeah, exactly. So no, I think they have an appeals process. I think some of their policies are pretty fair. Like they don't want you doxing somebody or attacking an employee. So, and but at the end of the day, like there's probably millions of reviews left every day. They can't.
I guess that's true, but it's probably like the credit card thing. Like I remember back in the day.
Oh, you want to talk chargebacks?
Yeah, chargebacks, and we would have the receipt with the delivery, their phone number, their signature, everything but their ID.
Yeah,
and they're like, nope, too bad. I'm like, how is that possible?
I had a guy come in, order $200 worth of pizza for pickup. I have a video of him picking it up, and I sent it to the credit card processor, and they're like, no, this isn't good enough.
How is that possible?
I don't know.
What was their reasoning?
They just said like stolen credit card. I don't know. Yeah, they were like, this isn't good enough. Whatever. So
that's crazy.
But I mean, we have like some chargeback protection in place. So I didn't get killed for that, but it's like it's not fair because those chargebacks make everything more expensive for everybody. Right. Like that justifies that credit card fee.
Right.
So and that's something that like I understand. Like Grubhub, DoorDash. Slice, I'm sure, deals with chargebacks and stuff. So that's a cost of business that people don't see. For every honest like purchaser, there's maybe like one that isn't so honest and it says my card got stolen or whatever. So to give them a little credit, those third-party apps do deal with a lot of the chargebacks.
Yeah, it makes you think about like that very small percentage of pizza shops that only take cash still.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow.
I was thinking about that the other day, actually, and there's a place around me called Candlelight. It's a wing spot.
Yeah.
You ever been there?
No.
Okay, it's in Westchester.
Is it good?
It's very good. And it's been around since probably the 50s or the 60s. And they're cash only. They're cash only in the restaurant, and then they take cards for the delivery, which I don't fully understand, but maybe it just is a procedural thing for them. But it's like that cash only thing. Now I think about it, it's actually more work to accept only cash.
Well, how so?
Well, I mean, you deal with counterfeiting. You have to count cash.
True.
You have to drop cash off.
Like liability of someone getting robbed or something.
So I wonder about it sometimes too, because like the chargeback thing, as frustrating as it is, like you get that money every day.
Yeah.
It just gets deposited. So I wonder how much longer people are going to hold on to that cash only mentality.
Plus, I don't know about you, but I very rarely carry cash around with me.
Not so much.
Because if you especially if you're not dealing with cash, you don't like if you have a job and they just direct deposit you, like most people don't have cash unless you go to the bank.
Never.
So I mean, I see those places. I see them. There's quite a few in my area.
Yeah.
Where it's like cash and then they have an ATM machine.
Right.
Okay, what are we doing here?
Yeah. It's like or the old credit card machine isn't working trick.
Yeah. Yeah.
We accept cards. It's just not working today.
Yeah.
Or next week.
Yeah. Like the McDonald's ice cream thing.
Oh yeah.
Like the ice cream machine's not working.
Same service company, I'm sure.
This is fascinating. I know that we could probably sit here and talk about pizza and all that stuff all day long. What's like one piece of advice you'd give to someone since you relatively started, if they wanted to start or like start promoting their pizza shop like you do? Like, what's some advice you'd give them?
So people like the story. I think that's something I wish I see these people that are opening, like there's a new sandwich shop downtown that just opened, but like they've been on Instagram for a year talking about the build out. Like people want to see the build out.
Yeah.
People want to see the fridges coming in the door. They want to see the first sandwich coming out. So like I wish I had more of that story of how we got started, but I also didn't want to make it about me necessarily.
Yeah.
But now I'm finding that that's what our guest wants. They want to know where their food comes from.
I totally agree with that.
And I'm the same way. Like I do my best to, shop local, shop independent whenever I can. It's not always possible, but people want the story. So I would say start the story now. Start writing it.
Yep.
Even if you're not posting it, like take the media and start thinking about how you're going to roll that out. That's something. And from a logistical standpoint, like your labor is going to be higher than you could ever imagine. So definitely budget some more labor. And
what's your labor percentage? 35%?
Yeah, I'm like under 30.
Under 30.
I'm just under 30, but that's like after 4 years.
Yeah.
There were times where it was not the case.
So are you at like a 55% overall prime cost, like food cost, labor?
Yeah.
Are you under that?
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, I'm under 55 for sure.
Yeah.
Probably closer to 50. The thing that kills me now is like insurance.
Yeah.
Insurance is like it's hard to get a handle on it. Every year it seems like it's going up and up. I don't have any claims or anything.
And it doesn't like there's no rhyme or reason.
Yeah.
It just goes up.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I'm glad to see that food costs have stabilized. I think I don't know. You speak to a lot of operators. There's always that fluctuation in like the cheese and stuff. But
one thing I was surprised about food costs. I know we're going on. I said we're going to stop, but I'm fascinated by this. We have a Facebook group, and I put out there in the Facebook group. Pizza Owners Forum, by the way, on Facebook. If you want to join, it's free. About like what's the least profitable item, and chicken wings was it?
Chicken wings went crazy when we opened. It was $70 a case for jumbo party wings. They went up to what was it? 175.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
but nobody talks about it. So like the customers don't know that.
Yeah, they don't really know it. I was like so close to pulling the plug on dollar wings because I was like, I'm not making any much money on it. But it was like, it's a loss leader, I guess. At that point, it's like bring people in, they'll drink beers, they'll have pizza. It's like it's fine. So I kept it. But when we priced the menu, it was like 70 to 80 a case. It went up to 170. Now we're back to 100. I mean, I don't know who watches this, but like for operators, maybe that's interesting, but for consumers, I don't think they care. But yeah, no, that was something we struggled with. Wings got crazy.
Yeah.
I'm glad they're back down, not because I can make more money, but because I can offer more incentives.
Well, pizza's like, it's like the restaurant industry is strange because any other business where prices fluctuate like that, the price to the consumer fluctuates too.
Yeah.
Except for the restaurant industry. You just got to either eat it or you make a decent money, but it never goes down.
It
always goes back to like where it was.
Yeah.
It never goes like below that.
Yeah. But it's funny because like, so I opened in 2021 and I talked to like people, you think about a bag of All Trump, which is like $18.75 or something now. And you talk to an operator who's been in business for 30 years, like, yeah, it used to be $9.
Yeah. When I started working, minimum wage was like $4.75.
Yeah. Well, New York is a different beast. New York minimum wage is $16.50.
Yeah. Boston, it's 15.
Yeah.
So it's similar.
Which I don't really have a problem with. I think the thing that messed up a lot of restaurant owners was the tipped minimum wage in New York. It used to be like 7 something. Now you have to pay everybody the $16.50, which compounds when you get to time and a half.
Do you have to pay them on the books that, or do you have to like add what they made in as tips to make $16.50?
You can do that. I don't. I mean, nobody on my team makes minimum wage.
Yeah.
So I just don't do it that way. And the other thing that's been, I think, tough for a lot of employees is nobody tips in cash anymore.
Right.
Everything's on the credit card. And like my staff gets 100% of the credit card tips, and even though it might be more, it's all reported.
Yeah.
Right? So like people are more often going to write 20% tip on a credit card because it's like easy, it's a selectable item. And that's great. Maybe the tip collected is higher, but they're still getting 30% tax, right? Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's less in their pockets.
Yeah, that's happened to us too. We used to have to, in Boston, they made it mandatory. This was like a long time ago, 10, 12 years ago, that we had delivery drivers, and we used to pay them because they were like getting a lot of tips. So you could like pay them by the piece or like a lower minimum, not minimum wage, but like lower than minimum wage because they would make up for it in tips.
Right.
And then they made a law that says you have to pay them at least minimum wage, which at the time was like $11 an hour.
Yeah, it's a big learning curve for older operators, but for I just built it in that way.
Yeah.
So I'm fortunate, but then as an operator, I have to look forward and say like, okay, what else could come my way to protect not the bottom line, but like at a certain point they could regulate it to a point where it's just not profitable.
Yeah.
Right.
I think a lot of places are kind of like almost at that point.
Yeah.
They're hard. Like a lot of pizzerias are having a hard time making it go as a business. Like they want to. Like if they didn't have to go in there every day. It's different if you're in there operating and you're in there every single day and you're an owner operator. But I guess that's life. You got to like roll with the punches.
You have to adapt.
Yeah. And
it's like that was a big thing I think for during COVID is like if you weren't creative during that time and found a way to make your business work, or I mean that really more applies to like sit down restaurants.
Yeah.
If you weren't doing more catering or delivering or whatever it is, you probably didn't last, and that's really sad because small business like that is the backbone.
Yeah, totally is. David, plug your shop one more time, Instagram, wherever you want me to go follow you.
Yeah, Dado's Pizza. We're in Harlem. We're at Dado's Pizza NYC. There is one in Oklahoma City. They're at Dado's Pizza OKC. And they do great there, and we hope to see you guys sometime soon.
I appreciate you stopping by the Slice office here in our
Nice.
podcast studio.
I should have brought a pie. I really regret it.
Next time, we'll do a follow-up episode. Thank you so much for doing this. This is great.
My pleasure, Ben.